Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll show you a supernatural horror film, Spell. Hormones ahead, watch out and take care. The film begins with a Cambodian monk arriving at the borders of Thailand. He gets inspected and questioned, just like the rest of the foreign visitors in the country. The inspector stamps his passport, and the monk begins to walk away when the inspector stops him. He turns around, and the inspector makes him remove his necklace with a vial as a pendant. The monk obliges, gives the vial to the inspector, and informs him that it's a love potion. The inspector laughs offensively, before showing the love potion to his colleagues. Despite the monk's warning, the female colleague smells it, and she immediately returns it, disgusted by the hormone-like smell. They return it to the monk while laughing and repeatedly saying it's worse than bullshit. The monk leaves the port, but he's not even that far when a thug attacks him, takes the vial, and leads with his Tesla tandem. Meanwhile, the female colleague hears this, but she dismisses it as she begins to vomit like a pregnant woman. Later that night, while asleep, she begins to have a wet dream that prompts her to caress and pleasure herself with her hormone let-go hand. But as she looks down, she's terrified to find a woman's ghost in between her thighs. The scene then transitions to Beauty, a simple but gorgeous lady working on tons of paperwork. Right then, her boss calls her to his office. Beauty enters his office, and he gives her a gift he bought when he was in Japan for a business trip, a toy dog. The boss turns it on, and the displayed dogs quickly do it, literally doggy style. Beauty sighs heavily at her boss's inappropriate behavior in the workplace, and leaves his office. Meanwhile, the boss thinks his gift is just cute. Beauty overhears her office mates, making a bet on whether she was called by the boss for work purposes or not. She dismisses it and returns to her desk, where she is stared at lustfully by her closest friend Lek, who's ugly in his face but rich in hormone dreams. He stares as she crosses her beautiful legs, but he cannot just watch anymore. So he gets brave and tells Beauty that he wants to have sex with her. Beauty is obviously shocked upon hearing this, but then she smiles at him and agrees, before opening his pants and pleasuring him with her hormone let-go mouth. Lek closes his eyes and moans in pleasure, but it turns out that he's just daydreaming. Lek's friend snaps him out of his hormone dream and tells him that she can help him if he still wants to bang Beauty. She informs him about the thug who gave the monk's love potion to her uncle. She also tells him about a mechanic who used the potion to seduce his alluring client. He taps her hand, smearing the potion on her, which leads to an intense moment. Lek doesn't fully believe in it, but he still takes it, as he's desperate for the sexy Beauty. On the other hand, after visiting her sick mother in the hospital and buying groceries, Beauty comes home late. Just as she's organizing the goods in the fridge, her selfish uncle tells her to give up and agree to sell the house. Beauty doesn't want to sell the house, but her uncle reminds her that it is under his name and her mother's. Beauty remains silent as he's right. The following night, Beauty and Lek arrive at a bar to meet their boss and a client. She comes in first, and her boss immediately shoos the sex worker away from the room. Beauty looks for the said client, so the boss informs her that the client called and postpones the meeting to another day. He adds that he still invited her, since the room and service are paid already. Beauty knows where this is going, so she immediately calls Lek in, ruining his hormone mood completely. The boss cannot help but show Lek in a non-subtle way the annoyance of his existence. Lek is not dumb not to notice this, so he excuses himself, but Beauty stops him. She pours beer on the boss's glass, accidentally spilling some of it on his pants. Beauty apologizes for her mistake and excuses herself with Lek, angering her boss even more because Lek meddled with his plan. They drive to a nearby street restaurant, where Beauty treats Lek as an apology for involving him in her work problem. After eating, Beauty goes to the bathroom, while Lek orders 2 beer glasses. Lek checks his surroundings as the bartender leaves him with the bar, ensuring that no one is looking before pouring all the remaining love potion into a beer glass. Its pigment colors the beer, prompting Lek to panic, but it quickly dissolves like it was never there. Although confused, he returns to their table and gives Beauty the beer she drinks. Beauty quickly spits out the beer and complains to Lek that hers taste weird. Lek assures her that the drinks taste normal, so Beauty dismisses it and slips along until they finish. While Beauty is asleep in the passenger seat, Lek takes the opportunity and puts his hormone let-go hand in between her thighs. However, Beauty wakes up, so Lek removes his hand and attempts to tongue massage her. As expected, Beauty pushes his smelly ass off, so Lek tries to explain. However, Beauty kicks him out of the car, takes the driver's seat, and leaves him alone on the road. However, she's not even far when she has to stop the car, as something blocks her throat. Beauty pulls it with her hands, and she's shocked as she pulls out long hair strands from her mouth. She calmed herself after that, but she finds a woman's ghost in her back seat, prompting her to scream. After hearing her scream, Lek immediately runs to her and asks if she's alright. Surprisingly, Beauty doesn't reply and asks him if he wants it that much. Lek responds yes without a doubt, so Beauty takes him to the backseat and leads their smelly exercise right away. Lek closes his eyes from the pleasure, but he finds a woman's ghost on top of him as he opens them. Lek screams, pushes the ghost from him, and crawls his way out of the car. He repeatedly screams for help, ignoring the blood on his thighs, but the ghost pulls him with her elongated arm. Beauty comes home, where she stares at herself in the shower mirror, confused about what's happening to her. As she cannot explain it, she gets up from the toilet, but then she notices that her reflection is still present in the mirror. She looks back, only to find her reflection transforming into a sinister figure before attacking her. Beauty screams in fear, but it's a dream. She gets in the car, where she finds Lek's phone underneath the passenger seat. Beauty is confused as she can't remember clearly what happened last night. Also, there are blood stains in the backseat, which she cleans before going to work. Beauty's confusion arises after discovering that Lek did not go to work. Right then, a detective comes into their workplace. Although she doesn't know the detective's motive for being there, Beauty locks Lek's phone in her drawer. While eating outside, Beauty's longtime friend, Thana, runs into her. Since high school, they haven't seen each other, so Thana apologizes for abandoning her. Beauty dismisses it, and the two catch up. Thana shares that he has a restaurant in the local. Thana cannot help but admire Beauty's simplicity and beauty, so he invites her to stop by if she's free. Beauty accepts the invitation, telling him that she will come later. Before parting ways, the two exchange phone numbers, but definitely not their hormones yet. After her break, Beauty returns to work, only to be called to the boss's office again. The boss is formal as the inspector's at his office. The inspector informs Beauty that Lek's disappearance is not ordinary, even though it has been less than 24 hours. It turns out Lek was picking up cash that he was supposed to the company's account, but up until that very moment, the system has still not received anything. He adds that her boss has given his statement to him about last night's event. The inspector believes that Beauty should have known Lek's whereabouts, since she's the one who was with him. Beauty clarifies that she has no idea where he is, but the inspector believes otherwise. So he instructs Beauty to think hard that can help with the case, or else she will be condemned as an accomplice to an embezzlement case. The boss panics after hearing this and immediately retracts his first statement, lying to the inspector that he told the wrong story. On the other hand, Beauty remains calm and stands tall in her statement that she's unaware of Lek's current whereabouts. Since there's no concrete evidence yet, the inspector leaves the office. After that, the boss invites Beauty to an inappropriate meal in a hotel room, which she has no choice but to accept. As soon as they settle in, the boss takes a shower, and soon after, he begins the guilt tripping on Beauty. This prompts Beauty to leave, because she only accepted the invitation as a thank you for what he did earlier. However, the boss insists that she do it with him, and Beauty attempts her best to free herself, but she suddenly loses consciousness. The boss laughs as his plan works. Meanwhile, the police find Lek's cold corpse in a small lake, thanks to two civilians who accidentally discover it. At that same time, the boss begins his magic show on Beauty's body while she's unconscious, but the event takes a sudden turn when Beauty wakes up and grinds herself on top of him. Although shocked, the boss continues his wet journey, but his pleasure quickly becomes panic-stricken as he finds the woman's ghost on top of him. It takes him a while to process it, but he immediately pushes off the ghost and leaves the hotel room, naked. Beauty remains in her car after driving home, where she receives a call from the hospital, informing her that her mother has passed away. Beauty doesn't even shed a tear and accepts the sad news, as she knows it's bound to happen at some point. She enters the house, and she can clearly hear her uncle's hormone noise with his partner. Fed up, Beauty takes a bucket of water, enters the room, and splashes them, for shamelessly and inconsiderately doing it in the house she's living in. After that, she leaves the house, successful in enraging her uncle. She drives to Thana's restaurant and catches up with him. Beauty lies to Thana when he asks about her mother, generally saying she's better now. Thana cannot help but notice her gloomy mood, so he offers the rooms next to his restaurant for her to stay. Beauty refuses his offer because she knows that Thana is still in a relationship with his current girlfriend he cheated on her with. Thana informs Beauty that they broke up a long time ago, but Beauty is still not that comfortable with him, so she prepares to leave, but she realizes that she still has feelings for Thana. So she accepts his offer, and Thana begins romanticizing in one of the rooms. But then, as he undresses her, Beauty stops him and confusingly tells him that she doesn't know what it is, but she knows something strange is happening to her. Thana comforts her with his muscles and assures her that she could trust him. Beauty forgets her worries and spends a passionate but smelly night with Thana. The following day, Beauty lets Thana sleep while she goes to work. Meanwhile, the inspector enters the cells, only to find the boss's naked corpse hanging from the ceiling. One of the officers informs him that they had to put him into the cells to calm down, because he was running naked last night, shouting about a ghost in the market. As he's about to leave, the inspector notices the virgin monk smiling, so he confronts him. The officer informs him that the monk was imprisoned because he was accused of making potions, and he's currently waiting to be identified. The monk offers a deal that he will be freed if he explains the reason behind the mysterious murders of maniacs. The inspector accepts it, and the monk begins the story. It happened a long time ago to a Virgo woman who entrusted her heart, body, and soul to a man. A flashback plays, revealing the Virgo woman having a romantic moment with the man she's entrusted her whole life to. But she's too naive and blinded by her love that she doesn't notice that the person she fell in love with is an evil man. The man lets his friend use her body to his liking. But that's not the worst thing, because she was pregnant when it happened to her. After using her body, the men take her to the monk's cave, where she repeatedly tells them that she will haunt them all. She will avenge what happened to her and make them suffer. The monk remains calm despite the threat and makes a love potion by burning her chin. The monk explains to the inspector that if the potion is used right, it will ignite the fire of lust. However, when misused or used without the owner's consent, they will face a vengeful spirit. Since the love potion was taken away from him, its users now suffer the consequences. Meanwhile, Beauty answers a call from Thana, who asks her why she didn't wake him up. They talk about last night's event, and Thana assures her that he's fine and she has nothing to worry about. This puts Beauty in calmness for a while, as she sees the inspector pulls up at the garage. Beauty ends the call and sneaks out to the back, as she knows what he's there for. When she walks to her car, Beauty runs into an apparition of herself, which quickly vanishes. She dismisses it and gets inside her car, where she sees the Virgo woman in her backseat. Beauty screams and closes her eyes, terrified from what she saw. But the ghost vanishes as the inspector knocks on her mirror. He takes her to an interrogation room as she's the prime suspect. He shows her the empty vial and brings up the story of the thug, thinking she used the potion. Beauty denies knowing anything about them, so an explanation comes to the inspector's mind. He hypothesizes that someone misused the potion on her, making the men she slept with go mad or die. The inspector believes that the black magic can be revoked only if the vengeful spirit cooperates. In addition to that, Beauty doesn't remember or realize that she's the cause of the men's death because she's under a spell. Beauty doesn't fully believe this because Thana just called her, and he sounded normal. After the interrogation, Beauty goes to Thana's home, only to find him doing a workout with his girlfriend. They do not even notice she's there until they finish. Thana smirks at her and confesses that he, his girlfriend, never broke up. He only used her for his pleasure. Thana and his girlfriend are sexually explorative and active, and they even invite Beauty to join them. Overwhelmed with the betrayal, Beauty agrees and wears a hormone outfit, and Thana wears a blindfold and chains on his neck, while the girlfriend eats ice cream as she watches them. Beauty takes over and grinds her hips on top of Thana while undressing herself. This prompts the girlfriend to stop eating and joins them, but the Virgo woman soon reveals herself, scaring all the hormones out of her. She vomits from disgust and leads her boyfriend in fear. Thana removes the blindfold, only to find the ghost on top of him. He quickly pushes the shitty ghost off. He hurriedly gets out of bed and crawls into the corner. But the ghost elongates her body and juicy tongue, and Thana can only scream for his life as she crawls towards him and consumes his whole body. After that incident, Beauty leaves a letter to the detective, telling him that he should focus on solving other cases because he will never find her. Apparently, Beauty accepts that the Virgo woman will forever be within her, so she begins a new lifestyle, and she starts by leaving with no trace. The film ends with the traumatized girlfriend telling the inspector she will not tell him anything. However, the inspector refuses to leave the case unsolved. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.